Hello, I would like to greet all participants as well as the organizing committee. I regret not being able to be there in person, and I do hope you take interest in my presentation. Tourism is Greece's largest industry, offering work to more than 900,000 people. The economic crisis has brought severe damage to the domestic economy, and the use of a strategic surveillance system for tourism management may be the way out of it. In that respect, it is really important to examine the drivers of tourist behavior, to identify the general trends in tourist models, and to highlight the Greek tourist profile so as to develop targeting marketing channels. Tourists as consumers are becoming more independent, and their expectations when they buy tourism products and services have risen. The Sun Last model is no longer viable, and a transition to new sustainable tourism forms is necessary that focus on differentiated, high-quality services and not on homogenization. An innovative model could be based on the 4 E's of environment and clean nature, educational tourism, culture and history, events and mega events, and entertainment and fun. One can distinguish two major types of tourism based on their lifestyles, allocentrics on one hand and psychocentrics on the other. Allocentrics engage actively in the tourist experience, traveling at their own pace and taking interest in authenticity and local cultures, while psychocentrics are after complete relaxation and wish their itinerary to be prearranged for them. In reality, however, things are not as clear-cut. Many tourists tend to combine tourist choices. For example, spend 1 week at a 5-star hotel and 3 days doing wine and food tourism. Even more important, they seem to be influenced by what is pushed on them from tourism opinion leaders and society's values. Tourists are pushed by their psychogenic needs to travel and pulled by destination attributes. A tourist may feel the need to escape from the daily routine and search for psychological rewards, like an adventure or social interaction. Maybe he or she is in quest of relaxation or excitement, novelty or pure enjoyment. Pull factors, on the other hand, relate to features or attractions of the destination, such as beaches, beautiful scenery, historic and cultural resources, accommodation, transportation, recreation activities, and entertainment. Let's see some relevant statistics. As the leisure time minimizes and modern life stress increases, tourists prefer to take more often but shorter breaks. And although they choose to stay 2 out of 3 times at friends' and relatives' homes, they would rather sacrifice eating out and gadgets rather than their holiday. Statistics also demonstrate that whom one travels with can influence vacation destination and transportation choice, while there are EU projections of higher expectations in a competitive tourist market and a heightened interest in niche markets like creative tourism, wellness and spa tourism. Special interest tourism, including but not limited to Aboriginal or rural, may be defined as a form of tourism which involves motivated consumers whose level of satisfaction is determined by the experience they pursue. All Greek governments over the last years, especially now, speak of the importance of developing such forms, mainly marine and coastal tourism, towards a sustainable economic growth, as well as promoting Greece as an all-year-round tourism destination. Our descriptive quantitative research was conducted in December 2013 with a non-probability convenience sample of 125 people, considered sufficient for the objectives of the survey, and tried to reply these research questions. Is tourism and traveling still a priority for the Greek people? What really drives tourism behavior? Are sustainable tourism models on the rise? An online questionnaire was distributed through email and social media accounts. The 41 questions were divided into 7 thematic subcategories plus the demographic section. Dichotomous and multiple choice questions, Likert scale, and ranking questions were included. The main findings of the research are presented according to the thematic category that were originally included. Although it was a convenient sample, there is a rather balanced participation of men and women. The educational level of the respondents tends to be high since approximately 50% of them holds a master or a PhD degree. The majority of the respondents were public servants, however all major categories are represented, including students, about 10%, and unemployed people. People were also asked to state their net monthly income since it is believed to be a very important factor in controlling tourist behavior, their answers ranging from 0 to more than 2,000 euros per month. When asked about their favorite type of holidays, 80% showed their Mediterranean origins, stating summer holidays, followed by a not insignificant 32% favoring weekend or 3 days breaks, while winter holidays was, as expected, very low. For the next question, they were given a list of factors influencing their holiday planning, including destination, accommodation, holiday duration, means of transport, and personalized customer service. As one can easily make out, it is only the destination which stands out, since 53.6% said it was very important and another 37% fairly important. People were also asked to vote for their favorite means of transport and accommodation type when on holiday. Their answers indicate they look for independence and quality. More than 50% prefer road trips and 36.8% travel by plane. Well-known hotel brands are preferred by approximately half of the respondents, followed not by medium-scale hotels in an attempt to lower cost, but from self-catering apartments. Aiming at more direct answers on the subject of holidays organization in a pre-packaged or in a more flexible way, this slide leaves no place for doubt as to the results. From the limited 7% who chose packaged holidays, about 3 out of 4 had minor children, hence explaining their choice. Which is your most significant travel motivator? The need to escape from the daily routine is number one answer with 80%. Everyday life has become very stressful as many people face financial or psychological difficulties. They need to relax under the sun and let their worries wash away by the sea. Third in line with a percentage of 25.6% is health and rejuvenation motive. But whether it is a tendency or not, that will be examined in the future. People were also asked to rate their favorable holiday model for this year, 5 years ago, that means before the crisis, and for the future. The Sun, Sea and Sun model, although still very high in the numeric scale, seems to have lost its crown, steadily declining. The culture and sightseeing model seems to be on the rise, regardless of the medium decline it suffered in the present year. The only 2 tourism models that show at present times increase are business tourism and visiting friends and relatives, since they are rather low-budget holiday choices. But the latter appears to be more a result of the socioeconomic circumstances rather than a tourism threat, since the respondents don't support their choice also for the upcoming year. Special attention needs to be given to the percentages of adventure tourism, which on the one hand has drawn back severely in the present year, but do insinuate a hope for rise in the medium term, rising from 4.8% this year to a 16% prediction for the next year. Next, people were asked to rate the importance of factors possibly influencing their choice of destination. The cost is up the ladder, followed by value for money. Only 7.2% look for personalized customer service. A whole segment of the questionnaire was dedicated to the alternative forms of tourism. The results speak by themselves. Out of 125 respondents, only 16 people had ever heard the term, and out of them, only 5 have actually tried it at one time. The main reason for not engaging to some kind of alternative form of tourism was not, as one could suggest, because it was too expensive, but rather because they lacked suitable traveling companion. When, however, asked to state their degree of satisfaction, the answer was 100%. The available budget influences significantly the choice of destination and the duration of the holiday, over 80%. Really interesting is the fact that when asked, there has been 4% of the respondents who rank holiday and travel expenses as their first priority, even before supermarket costs. The main reason given for not taking holidays is lack of money rather than the lack of time due to a possibly busy schedule or a lack of motivation due to burnout or depression symptoms. This slide clearly demonstrates the interrelation between monthly income and frequency of holidays taken in a year. Only 7% of those having responded that they earn between 0 to 500 euros per month answered that they do not go on holidays not once in a year. On the contrary, 7% of these people said they do have vacation more than 3 or even 4 times each year. The final questions category was primarily used to sketch the tourist profile through cross-reference of their travel habits, hobbies, and personal characteristics. Elaborating on the influence of personality to the selection of different tourism models, the results indicate that there is indeed a high interdependence, since 26 out of a total of 29 people familiar with special interest tourism describe themselves as outgoing and adventurous. On the other hand, when investigating more active or alternative tourism models, respondents' hobbies seem not to have any major impact on their touristic choices. As seen, although 26.4% have cooking and enology as a hobby, only 3% of them choose gastronomy as a factor that would influence their tourism destination. Another paradox appears here. When one tries to depend the number of people expressing their wish for a beautiful, clean scenery and the extremely small number of people who claim they would be sensitized by the degree of environmental awareness of the tourist destination, a mere 3.2%. Is it really women with a more adventurous soul, 81.2%, and not men, as one could easily be geared to believe? Maybe that has to do with the woman's psychology being more burdened by the daily routine that feels intense the need to escape. This figure visualizes the degree of consumer awareness most Greek people have. Only 53.6% admits namely that they are aware of their influence as consumer of tourism products and services. They insist, however, about 3 out of 4 that they do claim the right for quality service and that they do meet their demands. Travelers' behavior is culture dependent and shifts in time, giving emphasis to education and awareness for the promotion of sustainable tourism models. More scientific researches need to be implemented that will take into account the conditions that differentiate the Greek tourism market in terms of the Mediterranean lifestyle and the traditional character of the society, giving emphasis to the catalysts that influence tourist consumer behavior, searching out the role models who act as trendsetters for sustainable tourism forms, and elaborating on ways to develop consumer awareness are just a few of the paths that need to be highlighted, striving to more efficiently develop the tourism industry in Greece. Thank you for your attention. Enjoy the final day of the conference and the beautiful host city.